Joining me now is writer and broadcaster Esther Krakue. Esther, Extinction Rebellion has protested out the front of Windsor Castle this week. How are they pretending to save the planet this time?
Well, I love that you put it that way because really that's what they're doing. They're cosplaying as some sort of saviors of the planet. Like it's like a poor man's saviors of the galaxy, except very unattractive. Anyway, so they're protesting outside of Windsor Castle. They're saying that they're delivering posts to the king, which is apparently a bunch of letters written to them by their fans, all 10 of them around the world, about how concerned they are about the climate crisis. Now, there were rumors that they were planning on storming the castle and actually entering and wreaking some havoc. These are the same people that decide to throw paint soup on paintings, but apparently one of their spokespersons have said that that's not going to happen. They're just going to protest outside, and that King Charles is a symbol of a system that they believe is failing them, that's focused on elitism. It's quite strange because King Charles is known more so as a conservationist than an environmentalist, but he certainly has burnished his green credentials over the last few decades. So it's interesting that he's someone that they're targeting. You would think that he's someone that would be a natural ally. But I think the fact that they've obviously rode back and said actually they're not going to storm the castle even makes them realize that there are limits to their whole sort of PR shenanigans, and that the British public will turn against them in a fury if they decide to attack the king, more so than the general nuisances that they are, and the kinds of things that they do, like gluing themselves to motorways, for example.
Yeah, I love the gluing themselves to motorways. I wish they only knew what glue was made out of. Anyway, in an interesting report this week about Spare, it's making it to paperback. But apparently, in and amongst all that, Harry has extended an olive branch. What has happened?
So apparently, Prince Harry is not going to provide any sort of update, which is normal for autobiographies. Usually the writer or the subject of the autobiography would kind of would produce some sort of update in the first few pages just to discuss what's happened since the publication. Prince Harry is not doing that. Apparently, he's also not doing any press coverage of it, so he's not doing any interviews or promotional activity. And it's interesting because the book, the paperback copy, is being released on October the 22nd, which coincides with King Charles's visit to Samoa for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting or summit. And so he knows that this is potentially going to clash with the King's planned trip, which he's announced since July. He was saying even though he's undergoing cancer treatment, it's something that he really wants to do, and it gives him an opportunity to also visit Australia. And so it's interesting that Prince Harry is choosing not to promote this version of his book, especially because we know that paperback copies usually come sort of a year or two after the hardback, and they tend to be easier to produce, they tend to be cheaper to produce, and they tend to actually be more successful than the hardback copy. We know that some of the consistent rumors we've been hearing about Meghan Markle recently has been the fact that she wishes Prince Harry would move on. She has a lot of things in the works. They just got back from Colombia. She has these businesses that she's trying to run. And she's really sort of getting stuck into different ventures, and we've been hearing that she's concerned that Prince Harry is still kind of harking back at his old life. We know that he's still sort of taking up the case with the Home Office about removing his automatic right to armed protection here in the UK, which is one of the reasons why he said he's not felt comfortable bringing his wife and children back to the UK. So he definitely has some strings that he wants to kind of tie up in the UK, and he really is not happy with the direction of travel. A lot of things haven't gone his way. The only thing that has gone positively really is him winning a minor case against sort of a newspaper group here in the UK. So it's interesting that he's not promoting this version of the book, which would probably even be more successful than the hardback. People are saying this is him extending an olive branch to the royal family and to not cause more headache, especially because the king is obviously undergoing cancer treatment, as is his sister-in-law, the Princess of Wales. But we'll never really know. We don't know if it's because of it's going to draw attention from what he's been trying to do with the Invictus Games and other projects. His role at that sort of Better Health company, which is still quite very unknown to most people. Most people don't think he actually does anything there. Or whether it's because he doesn't want to cause the royal family more headache and is using this as an olive branch to try and let him back in to the firm in one way or another.
Look, I'm going to take the small win regardless of the rationale behind it. But just when I thought I'd heard it all from the Duchess of Sussex, this week she's spoken about changing the world through changing our wardrobes. I think she's probably pitching that a little bit too high, don't you think?
Well, yes. The thing is, she's she did an interview with the New York Times, and she said that, one of the things that she's doing to help people and to do good, as seems to be the sort of catchphrase of the Sussexes, is to actually promote female-led small businesses by actually wearing some of their clothes and the things that they send to her. Now, the rationale behind that is right, because it's similar to the Kate effect, which is anything that Princess Catherine wears or her children wear, blows up, and it really does is this perfect promotion for businesses, but particularly small businesses that might not get any sort of reasonable or extensive coverage any other way. The difference is Princess Catherine doesn't talk about it. There's something a bit crass about saying, "Oh, I'm doing good. Look, I wore your small brands earrings, or I wore your handbag. Look at me. I'm such a philanthropist." Now we know that she has investment in Sesta Collective, which is a handbag brand, which is kind of like a mix between Mulberry and Bottega, I would say, but kind of on the more affordable end. But it's the fact that she says these things, so people are now going to be on the lookout for the fact that what she's wearing is maybe not because it's actually attractive or it might draw negative criticism, but it's because she wants to use her name to promote those brands that are, she's explicitly said, are female-led small businesses. The rationale is right. It's just the fact that it's very Meghan to actually say it. And these are the kinds of nuances that people don't really get when you actually are in the royal family and you're a working member. These are the small things that you don't say, and that actually not saying something is more powerful than saying it. So the rationale is right. And I in some way appreciate the fact that she's trying to help small businesses, but it's the fact that she knows she's drawing attention to herself by saying, "Oh yes, I'm the Duchess, look at me, look at what I'm wearing, and also buy these people's things." Sometimes not saying things is more powerful than saying it.
Absolutely. But she does occasionally have a bit to say, or she often has a bit to say. But she a report this week that apparently she has regrets about her royal exit. Is that introspection, perhaps, Esther?
Well, it certainly seems like it. Apparently there have been rumors that she wasn't happy with the way that she exited the royal family, in the sense that while she wanted the focus to be on mental health, for example, with her interview with Oprah and all the kind of subsequent press that she's done since leaving the royal family, she feels like she actually unwittingly gave her critics fodder to obsess over, and the things that she said about, the royal family being concerned potentially about the skin color of Archie. These were things that distracted from her real message, which is a bit confusing, because I don't really know what she expected to happen when you say something that's so bombastic and then didn't actually, debunk it or provide any clarification for years on end. I mean, they've never really spoken about it explicitly since. All they said was, "Oh, it wasn't the king or queen," which is, again, not really very helpful, because they mired the royal family in the scandal of what was clearly seemed to be racist allegations. It's the fact that she was, I think, frustrated that she couldn't actually gerrymander the media to focus on what she wanted them to focus on. But again, this is one of the things that you learn when you're any sort of public facing individual. You have to learn to be able to feed the public what you want them to talk about, not what you think they should focus on. And these are the things that, had she spent a bit more time in the royal family, or, had Prince Harry coached her a bit better, she wouldn't have, these are the traps she wouldn't have fallen into. But unfortunately she did. And apparently she's lamenting that. Now, these are, again, just rumors or allegations, but it doesn't seem too far from the truth, because we spoke about sort of the things that she said, particularly with regards to Archie's skin color, for years. It was literally everything that she was known about. I mean, most people are not really focusing on the fact that she's about to release a jam brand, or, American Riviera Orchard, which is a mouthful, all the other ventures that she has, because everyone is just seeing her as a fame-hungry sort of faux princess that seems to be kind of living in a bubble, thinking she's doing so much good in the world, which she could potentially do. She's just stuffed it up in the first few years of actually trying to do it.
But that seems to be the lasting impression.